Are we good? All right, we can begin our work session. So starting with our public hearing projects, any comments from the board on 135 Bompart Avenue?
Yeah, I need some scope clarification on this one. When I'm looking at the elevations from remodel on the existing permit, on the north elevation, they're showing that new colonnade has 3 all brick columns. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll have to move my microphone to the drawing side. There's 3 columns that look like they're all masonry, and that roof has been extended, and there's some window changes associated with that. From when you're looking at the photographs on the north side, it looks like the existing windows are remaining. That roof is a lot shorter. There's only masonry at the column bases, and then the roof is supported with 2 posts. So I'm trying to clarify if that's part of what we're reviewing.
I'm going to stop you for a second. The only thing you're reviewing is the front stairs on the front of the house. I think he used some original elevations. It's come back to you a couple different times. You're not reviewing any of the things that are on
the side.
On the side.
Because that's what the scope clarification I asked for, because it was hard to tell what has been approved. And these photographs show so many views of that side that
He was trying to just show that materially he's trying to match the
Match.
materials.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully, and I apologize. I know you had a question. Everyone else said that they were fine with it. So I didn't bother telling him that there were comments or questions. But yes, the only thing being addressed are the front stairs.
Yeah, yeah. I know it's a lot of work, but if there's a way to have what's actually been previously approved, it would be helpful, but we work it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it went through so many different revisions with different amendments. I came back to you a couple times. So trying to get that final set with all the different ones that we had. That's why the photos were being used, because everything else had been approved. You've already made all those determinations. And so he was just trying to focus on the
Okay.
stairs. So that's why I didn't get into a whole big detail over what the plans. I wanted existing plans, or at least some set of plans, but he's trying to do this himself to just do the front stairs.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, the front stairs are fine.
All right. Moving on to 25 Marshall Place. Any comments from the board?
Just if they would please close off this space below the stairs with some lattice or something, since it is on the front of the house.
I wondered how appropriate the 2x pressure treated was for front porch steps. Seems more like a back deck type materiality. Didn't know if they would consider changing that. Or if you guys think it's appropriate, I'll back on.
The what now?
Just doing the double 2x tread, pressure treated, then painted, just didn't seem to be appropriate for a front porch. That elsewhere is it has the 1x tongue and groove planking for the porch material. So just kind of like a chunky deck look versus a formal front porch look.
They are big. Oh, it's 5 1/4 by 5. 5 1/4 is probably okay. But they look chunky.
Yeah, didn't know if pressure treated has the rounded corners and just looks very decky.
Looks backdoorish.
Yeah,
That's what
that's
you're
back,
thinking.
yeah.
A little bit.
But I don't know if that's a big deal or not. I could go with what the group think is, honestly.
So I guess I would agree with you that it's a little chunky, but I also think it's probably not completely, obviously the concrete steps are not, I mean, they don't look to me
No,
their
they're,
period
No,
appropriate
no,
for the
they're-
house, you might say,
Yeah,
or
they're-
from the period.
they're probably an addition
So
later on.
there was probably wood steps at one point. What those wood steps look like
Right,
could have varied a little bit,
right.
but, and they probably would have used, well, I don't know. I don't really know for certain. I know sometimes they didn't necessarily have the best. So.
Yeah.
The railing looks like it's just exactly the same
Mhm.
railing just being put back, so.
Yeah.
Cause it's kind of, I mean, a railing, they wouldn't have even had a railing most likely, I guess. So for me, I guess I'm okay with the chunky.
Yeah, the fact that it's being painted to match the existing, I don't have any problem with it.
And that the existing is wood.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think I understand what your comment is coming from, David. Okay. Anything else on that one? Not, we can move to 331 Orchard Avenue, rear addition and deck.
For me, a large room addition elevated on posts, especially when that's visible from the front, is inappropriate. And especially inappropriate in the historic district. So I think there needs to be some discussion about that condition.
I agree. I agree from the, well, say the north elevation that will be enclosed. I see how that, I can see how they're trying to make that like a patio overhanging enclosure next to the pool. But it'd be nice if it was at least the backside of it was enclosed. And then somehow treat the columns facing the pool to be more appropriate in the style versus just plain posts, which they're shown as right now.
Yeah, and looking quite thin
Yeah, yeah.
proportionally.
Yeah, I agree. They could kind of fix that underside, so it seems like they could still do exactly what they're doing and do something down there. So that it isn't just this. It looks like it's on stilts,
Right.
Yes, like something that would be built in a floodplain.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, with the tall, slender columns holding it up. It
Right,
has just
yeah.
like a utilitarian, we had to lift this up kind of look.
and I didn't even think of it that way. I mean, even just making the columns look like something would be an
Made a
improvement.
little wider, made the
Make
framed
them-
out brackets or something.
Make those decorative so that it's like you wanted it.
Cause
there.
I mean, I could see that being a cool place to hang out while you're sitting next to the pool. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, I do too. I understood that aspect as well. And maybe just on one side, there's some sort of enclosure, I don't know, or
Yeah.
something so that it has a feel of.
It looks a little more substantial, especially from the front, it just doesn't
Oh,
quite
yeah, the front,
fit.
go around that whole, and then where they see it, maybe it's columns that would be a little more decorative and they could go in there.
Right, and especially too, I don't know how visible this would be from the side for the neighbors, but I really do think it would be appropriate to finish it off and maybe along that north side, put some sort of wide trim board or something, so it doesn't look like just the siding stopped, like maybe a trim board in alignment with the deck framing, so it looks more finished, and then trim out the columns, make them a little beefier, so it looks like it's more in keeping with the rest of the building. Because there is a horizontal band trim that is existing on that north side toward the front of the house. Maybe just repeat that in the back to kind of help tie things together a bit.
I think that horizontal band is showing on the south, so.
Yeah.
Well, when I'm looking at the drawing that's noted as, it's on A102, it's noted as north.
Yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
I'm just saying that seems like that same trim could apply to both the north and the south.
Mhm.
I'm not sure how the neighbor to the north is, how close they are to the property. But having that north wall enclosed entirely on the other side would just be a privacy thing for me. If that would be a, to enclose outside of the,
Yeah.
just for privacy would be nice.
Yeah, it seems like it would make that a space,
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of create a, because you could use a latticey thing, whether it's just horizontal.
Yeah.
Members.
Or even
So,
trim out the columns and have whatever privacy members run between the columns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it had a finished appearance on both the inside and the outside.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd look good.
Now, I mean, if all
I
the,
don't-
if,
if you
I mean,
wanted.
if all they do is put lawnmowers there, then that's a whole different discussion, but yeah, it seems to be a functional room now.
Yeah, that's true. If it's stuff under there, they might, but then I wouldn't want to see it myself.
If it's got stuff under there, it needs to be enclosed because,
Oh,
you know,
true.
you don't want to look at somebody else's lawnmower and, empty pots and all the rest of that stuff. Even if it's stacked neatly, it's an eyesore stack of stuff. So maybe if we kind of determine more of what the function is, we can address it.
Okay, any other comments on that one? If not, we'll move on to 336 Orchard Avenue Pool House. Any comments from the board?
I think it looks fine.
I didn't have any
I
comments.
think it looks beautiful.
Yeah,
Appreciate the example image.
Yeah. I wrote down beautiful, build it.
Next.
I did wonder if they would consider putting grills on the French doors like they have in the example image, rather than leaving them just as wide open with no grills. But that'd be my only comment, pretty much.
Well, that's a good comment, yeah.
Mhm.
And it's, I mean, the way it is, I guess, fine, but that's actually would look nice.
But I mean, it's not the deal killer, but no,
Everything
it's-
else.
it's
has-
nice, it's really nice.
I didn't even notice that. Everything has it with those doors.
Yeah, I want that from my main house.
All right. We can talk about that on the Orchard project. Moving on to, next on our list is 302 Innisfeld Drive.
They did pick up a lot of the changes from the last meeting, but there's still a lot of discrepancies. Like the window grills are, they're shown in some elevations, but not in other elevations. And during our discussion, it was noted that the windows that are existing are to remain on the plan, and that's what it still says. That was what was reflected during our discussion, but those existing windows still aren't drawn in accordance with the photos. The bay windows were cottage style with grills on the top. They're being shown now, looks like in elevation, it looks like they've been changed. There was also, the discussion was that the existing door surround would remain, but it's not shown on the drawings. There was an existing door at the rear of the garage that was indicated that during our discussion that it would remain, but it's not on the plan. So it just seems like there's a number of discrepancies that we still need to somehow clarify.
Yeah, I agree with all those points. Also, if the one window on the ground floor that's existing is just having the shutters, then either take the one pair of shutters off or put shutters elsewhere. And then the detail between the brick and the siding flashing still concerns me how that's gonna be a big step back. If that could be fixed with a piece of trim like was discussed last time we were here.
Yeah, and we've got a mix of like grills on the front and no grills on the rest of the place.
Right.
And I think that's something we need to clarify what exactly is intended and get some more consistency to that. And on the rear elevation, there was just a plain glass block window in that bathroom that was noted as existing to remain, and now it's drawn like art glass.
Mhm.
So I think we just need a lot more clarifications for the sake of the project going forward and for the reviewers. So they know what's actually been approved.
Right. Also the windows on the ground floor and the upper floor are the exact same window type, but the trims you would think would be different when they're on siding, having a applied trim versus a brick mold on, so I think a lot of it might just be computer drafting deals.
Yeah, like,
Get
yeah,
clarification.
just, a lot of it's just drafting housekeeping, but I think it needs to be attended to for clarity.
Mhm.
Along those lines on sheet A110, the front door, it looks like it's hovering too high above the front step. I don't know if that's a drafting thing.
Oh, yeah.
Which might be a drafting thing,
Mhm.
right? 'Cause they're probably gonna
Most likely.
do what they're not gonna, well, but they need to draft it properly, yeah. So for the dormers, um, they're they're better now that they're centered over those windows, but I think they're still too far towards the eave. In particular, since they're not anything functioning, either push them back up the roof so that there's a little bit of space at the bottom. Personally, I don't think that they're necessary at all. I don't think I would put them on there because they are nothing more than a decoration, I guess. But if they want them, I think I would actually narrow them up and move them up the roof and set them on there like that. So they're a little bit more quaint instead of so flat and going all the way out like a triangle, put some walls on there and make it like an actual dormer. I don't mind the little round vent if they like that, but like I said, I guess I probably would just not put the dormers personally, but if they want them, I don't know that this is gonna look quite right. It's gonna look a little bit too much like it's, I don't know, it looks like there's just a few inches of roof past the dormer. It's
They look like they're a little precarious to you. or
Almost,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
And is that, we didn't have the pictures, but that garage was drawn. It seems like the garage was actually, the roof was not quite like that before.
Yeah, I think one of the discrepancies that was previously noted
Yeah.
was that the garage was drawn taller on the drawings than it showed in the photographs. And
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
too. Okay.
Were there photos submitted with this one?
This is the second time we've
Oh,
seen
okay.
this one,
Gotcha.
and there were submitted with the first one, but we didn't get them back this time.
All right, moving on to the next one, 818 Holland Avenue, new single family dwelling. Any comments?
The only thing I wonder about are the grills on the south window. The south elevation doesn't have any at all, and all the others have them. I
That's,
don't know if that's just they forgot them there or,
That was my comment too. I think it would be more consistent to add grills to those windows since all the rest of them do and are quite consistent. And that would also avoid the interior view of the same room having a mix of window styles and grill and no grill on the interior.
And I see since the last meeting, we asked to put a flanking column on the front door to frame the front door. I wonder if we can move the door or reposition the column so it's a symmetrical appearance. Right now the door is a little bit off to the jerk to the right a bit. Or I guess they could also widen the side light too to make it symmetrical.
Or either that, or if you look at it, it looks like there's going to be a lantern there. So maybe it's framing the lantern and the door and the side light, and they'll likely maybe put a mailbox or something there.
Okay.
Which would, to me, would finish it off and make it
Mhm.
logical.
That works.
Because it looks like the way their door is hinged, that's where they'd open the door and get the mail or something.
Yeah, I don't think the plan and the elevation match. The plan, they look more,
Oh, you're right. The stairs center between the columns. but
stairs
they're
up in
not.
the middle.
Good point.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, the wider stair shown on the plan, I think would look nicer.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, widen that up so that it looks like the plan.
Yeah,
And I think then the whole thing just needs to move to the right a little, because it looks like they're, or I don't know, whatever, the plan seems,
Yeah, so if you widen the stair, that might just fix the whole thing.
yeah, I think I just kind of drew that on there. I think if you widen the stair, it lessens the impact of the slight shift. And then if they have a, nice decorative lantern and maybe something under there, I think that would be fine.
Wider stairs centered between the columns.
Yes.
And actually, now that we're talking about the steps, something I didn't see when I looked at you the first time was, is the front of that porch going to be closed off in any way? Looks like the grade line's down a foot or two below the board, the framing.
It would look better closed off.
yeah, because the one side starts to get,
Pretty
Drop off.
high.
drop off.
That might drop off more in reality than it does
Yeah,
once it's built.
And the columns might be just a little wider, a little more substantial looking.
All right, next one is 1303 Belton Avenue window replacement.
This one.
Yeah.
For me on this one, I think the picture window is okay, but the front of the house is so nice with the articulation and the double hung windows and the 3/1s.
Oh.
I mean, it's such a nice little house that, I mean, I really like it the way it is and it just looks nice and symmetrical here. I mean, the picture window isn't horrible, but I just see a lot of character of the house is being lost. And I also think that if they do decide to go forward with the picture window, I think those shutters would be kind of have an awkward appearance on the picture window.
yeah, I thought the exact same thing, that it's gonna make it look a little odd rather than, and I'm not sure what the reasoning is for putting a picture window there. And that one, the other, so is there just the one picture window?
Mm-hmm,
Yeah,
It's just that one. Okay.
Yeah.
on the front. looks like.
Okay, there, because I couldn't tell if there was maybe another one.
Mhm.
But yeah, and the shutter doesn't work at all. That's what, if they put a picture window, the shutters have to go. And then you have one window over here with shutters and no other shutters. So then it's kind of, what do you do there?
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, it has such a pleasing rhythm now. It kind of, the picture window sort of loses that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and makes it look unbalanced to me.
I agree.
All right. That takes care of our work session
Oh, wow.
with 4 minutes to go. We'll take a 4-minute pause and resume the official meeting at 5:30. Thank you. All right, 5:30. Welcome, everyone. We have finished our work session and the regular Architecture Review Board meeting will now start. Introduce Yolanda Wilkins and Jim Bailey with the city We have Carol Dunkey and Mark Vogel, Angela Thompson, David Yates, and myself, Bob Buckman, all volunteer architects and landscape architect on the board. First item of business is review of April 18th meeting minutes, which we were all here. Tracy's not, Mark was not. So do I have a motion on those?
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from April 18 as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. April 18th meeting minutes are approved. Next, we have a series of pre-approvals. So I'll ask board members to refer to the handouts when making a motion. First one is 707 North Forest Avenue. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 707 North Forest Avenue with the following understandings. The trim around the garage overhead door, man door, and windows will match the width of the house window trim. Rectangular gable vent will be added on both ends to match the front of the house, and clarification that the siding and trim will match the house.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? 707 North Forest is approved. Next, we have 505 South Gore Avenue.
Motion to approve 505 South Gore with the understanding that the trim around the garage overhead door, man door, and windows will match the width of the house window trim. And the head trim will extend slightly beyond the side trim to match the style of the trim on the house.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? South Gore is approved. Next, we have 8 Inks Crest or Ink Circle. May I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve 8 Angus Circle as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? They're approved. Next, we have 314 at Atlanta. May I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve 314 Atalanta as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Atlanta is approved. And then the final is 303 Planthurst. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 303 Planthurst with the clarification that the trim around the new second floor windows will match the existing window trim, and the understanding that a gable louver will be added to the rear elevation.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Planthurst is approved. All right, at this point, we'll go through the projects for review. If we call your name, please come up to the microphone, introduce yourself, and we'll discuss your project. The first 4 are public hearings as well. First one is 135 North Bompart Avenue.
Hello, Todd Miller, homeowner.
Welcome, Todd. All right, comments from the board? I think
We're good.
we're good.
Thank you very much.
All right, appreciate your time. This is a public hearing. Anyone else want to make a comment on 135 North Bompart? Seeing no one, may I have a motion?
Motion to approve 135 North Bompart Avenue as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, Todd, you're approved and good to go. Next on our list, 25 Marshall Place. Anyone here for that? Are there, yeah, without anyone present, we can come back to it. Maybe they'll show up. We'll hold that one to the end. Next, we have 331 Orchard Avenue.
Hello, I'm Rich Conyers. I'm the architect on the project.
Hey, Rich. Welcome. Thank you. I guess you heard some of our
Yeah.
comments, so, a little bit about the functional and the design, approach, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. The owner's not able to be here because they just had a brand new baby, so they're home with a newborn, which is the purpose for the addition, to be able to have enough room for their kids. The intention on holding the addition up was to keep everybody on the same level of the house, so it's still fully operational. I wanted to clarify one thing. There was a question about the column size. Those are 12 by 12s. That's about as big as we can get with pressure treated. We could wrap them, but I just wanted to confirm that that was what we were talking about, being a small, thin column.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was just their, even though they're, that's large,
Mhm.
just on the height, they're pretty still very slender. And we're wondering if that space underneath there will be a functional room of some sort to, like a cabana, if you will, by the
Sure.
pool.
So-
If they'd be wider, clad in something, maybe the siding comes down or something,
Sure. So the intention is that it'll remain open to begin with, and that as a future phase, they would be able to wrap that similar to a three-sided sunroom. And I think somebody mentioned that'd be kind of a deck space near the pool. That was the intention. I don't think they have any problem at all screening the north side and the front street. You can't actually see that from the street because there's large trees on that side of the house, but I still don't think they'd have a problem screening that with horizontal members at all. But the intention would be that it's left open and yard space covered area. There would shortly, when they're able to, infill that with pavers and wrap that as a screen and kind of an outdoor three-season room near the pool.
That sounds good, and to me, that sounds like a good reason to add some articulation to those columns, because
Okay.
it would be a nice finished space on the interior and exterior of your future screen porch. And I agree with doing some screening on the side, is even though there's big trees there, we typically look at the building because vegetation doesn't always remain.
Understood.
So, yeah, I think that giving some articulation to those columns and then having some discussion about what the screening will look like on the front and the side, I think that'll get us headed in the right direction. Do you have any idea of what kind of screening you would be considering?
I would propose a horizontal wood member screening that's full privacy that happens from column to column, as you mentioned, so it's finished on both inside and outside.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sounds fine because that would be a nice looking space on both sides. And also too, one of the things that we were discussing was maybe having, let me just kind of draw this on here, a horizontal like band trim here, kind of in line with the deck and similar width here. That way, when you do your columns and your articulation, I think that'll look a little more finished.
Sure.
And like the columns are supporting,
A beam.
a beam of, it's just kind of an illusion, but I think it would make it look more substantial.
Okay, I'll make that note as well.
So for the horizontal screening on the east and north, are those gonna be tight fitting or you see some gaps in between them or
No, they'd
finish?
be tight fitting.
Okay.
Oh, no gap at all.
That wasn't my intention. If there's a strong preference otherwise, the owner's pretty flexible on this particular space, so.
Well, I mean, for me personally, either way would be fine. If there's, some functional aspect to having a little airflow or something.
like,
Yeah.
it's like a privacy fence, but turned sideways where you have the
Mhm.
alternating.
Well, I'm just saying,
No,
having
no,
a
you're
gap,
saying
a
horizontal.
small gap horizontal, right? Because we're talking about horizontal members, so I'm kind of envisioning that same piece of trim that you have on the north or on the south side that's
Mhm.
coming around the north. If if the boards were say of that width and
Yes.
they're made their way down that
Yeah.
to the ground.
Like inch between or something?
I
or-
would,
I-
I would say a slight gap. I mean, I'm just thinking of using that as a space underneath there.
Yeah.
You'd probably want to get some breeze and better airflow so it wouldn't get too still
Yeah.
down there. I mean, I think a small gap would be functionally nice, but it wouldn't look unsubstantial. And I think doing an alternating thing, I would not be in favor of because I think it would detract from the appearance with too much surface texture.
Hmm.
So I would think stacking them, either full privacy
Mhm.
or with a bit of a gap for airflow. I think that would be the preference. for
If
me.
You could, you know, you could make them a little bit like a louver
Mhm.
size as well, so they appear solid, but there's space,
Mhm.
something like that. That's obviously a woodworking sort of job there rather than
Yeah,
something you can just put in there, but that would be one way to do it if they really wanted them without a space, without a visual space.
and since two of the sides are still open, I was less concerned about airflow for that particular reason.
Mm.
I was more concerned about the gap. If we're talking about a 10-foot span, those tend to sag if
Yeah.
it's made out of wood, and I'd be concerned about the longevity of this.
Yeah,
So that's why if we did a tongue and groove or something that was hard stack,
sure.
I'd be much less concerned about that in the long run.
Yeah, for me, it's just about clarifying what you think you want to do
Yeah, no,
and see if there's any options in there.
I think
So we
the-
know what we're voting on, but yeah, I mean, I think the the tongue and groove's fine,
Yeah.
solid. It looks like it's, grounded and screened.
Yes.
Works for me.
So it would have, you would put the trim at the bottom, like she mentioned.
Yes, so we'd have trim at the bottom and then we do trim on each side to hold in the vertical slats, right? So you've got kind of each side of the column, there has to be a channel to hold all of that. And we would do that in the center point of the columns, or a center point, I guess I shouldn't say the center point, so that it's
Mm.
finished on both sides.
And then trim, you could, the house is fairly simple, so you could
Mhm.
use a fairly simple base and cap trim
Yeah.
on the columns.
A white PVC, the wood look PVC trim, that's good for outside.
Mhm.
That's what I would
I
intend.
think that, and, okay.
Yeah. Works for me. All right, any other comments? This is a public hearing, so anyone else present wants to make a comment on 331 Orchard Avenue? Seeing no one, I have a motion.
What are we
One
on?
of my board
I'll
members.
do it. I'll make a motion
Fellow board.
to approve. What's the number? 331 Orchard Avenue with the understanding that there will be a trim board at the base of the addition, second story addition, matching the deck fascia or whatever, sideboard. And then there will be trim around the base and cap of the columns, similar fashion to articulate those. And there will be the one by tongue and groove screening on the east and north sides at the bottom, framed between the columns.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, you're approved. That's
Thank you.
noted. Thanks. Have a good evening.
Thanks.
Next, we have 336 Orchard Avenue, pool house.
Hello, my
Good
name
evening.
is Hannah. Um,
Welcome, Hannah.
so we have our pool house, and I have drawings showing the dividing lights on the doors if you would like to see them. Do you like them?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ditto.
Happy girls.
Makes it just like.
So we
the
just
picture.
added the dividing lights on all of the 4 sets of French doors.
That's great.
Yeah, really nice.
Thank you.
All right, well, I think that does it for our comments.
Very good.
Thank you for the updated drawings. Is there anyone else present that wants to make a comment about 336 Orchard Avenue? Seeing no one, may I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve 336 Orchard Avenue based on the revised elevation submitted this evening.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, Hannah, you're approved as,
Thank you.
have a good night. Next, we have 302 Innisfail Drive. Welcome,
Oh, do we need,
James, again, the general contractor on it, so
welcome back.
back, let's see,
We're getting close.
I see, that's a good thing. Now, I can address the window screens and everything else. All the windows around the house will actually have window screens and shutters around it.
Say screens, do you mean the grills or the?
Yes, the window grills.
Okay, and will they all be the same style and what?
Same style on all windows. There's one window that's like in the kitchen that's actually abnormal, but I can't change it. That window is like 44 inches wide.
Okay, and what is the proposed grill style?
The same style that we have here, the 9, like different, like through the center and another row and the double hung windows.
They're all double hungs and they're all going to be 4/4.
Yes.
Okay,
So as it,
Where's
the drawings right now show grills on the front of the house.
Match it the rest of the house. So
Right,
if
and
one
since
of
we,
them has it, they have to have it.
right,
I know.
so, but there's two different grills shown on the front currently. So I'm not sure if you could clarify which one of these we're actually gonna review. That's what's being shown currently.
So this is style that we're going with.
Mm-hmm.
So the window has 6 bays in it. And all of the other ones, all the windows will have the same pattern.
6/6.
Yeah. 6/6.
so we're not doing the 4/4s that are shown, we're doing 6/6s? Okay, okay, so it's 6/6. And then what about the window on the side of the garage?
The architect forgot to add that window. It's got- there's a V-
Thing.
Okay, so the existing door on the rear of the garage is staying. And the existing 2x3 window on the side of the garage stays.
I
Okay,
mean, we're replacing it with a new window, but it remains the same size, so yes.
so it will have, it'll be a double hung with the grills? Okay, okay, okay.
And you said also the windows will all have shutters.
Yeah.
Okay.
The shutters will be a decorative piece.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
It's not, it's not gonna be solid wood shutters. It will be those plastic.
Right,
shutters.
we're not North Carolina with the hurricane.
Yeah, not, no. They'll be decorative pieces and, we're planning to put a transition, like a trim piece that's gonna go in between the siding and the actual brick. Flashing and then an actual piece of wood have to be added in between that just for decor. Which we haven't decided on colors and everything else, but there will be a piece that separates the siding, and the siding starts from top.
Okay, and that existing door surround that has the curved top, in our discussion last time, it was noted that that was going to remain, but it's not shown on the drawings.
It was not shown on the drawings, but it remains from the existing one. It will be painted
Okay,
on the entry door. We wanna
Okay.
We want to keep the original.
okay, and that, it looks like, my recollection from that piece, it looks like it was straight on the sides and had an arch, a bit of an arch. And I'm wondering how that would coordinate with the height of your new porch roof. Is that correct? We didn't get the photos back this time.
Let's see. the trim piece is actually, so it's the height of the front porch of it. It will not interfere with the actual thing. The porch will be a little higher than the actual door itself.
Yeah.
And the curved piece where the 302 is on there, it will remain. the way
Yeah.
it is.
I wished it was drawn on there because I think that it might not look too good with the height of that front gable and the height of that existing door surround. I think they'll look like they're kind of colliding and interfering. That's why
If
I
we
was
want
hoping,
to have a straight piece on top of that, to have a straight square piece, I mean, I got no problem changing that.
I mean, the existing door surround, I think was nice. However, I don't think that it's going to coordinate well with the porch that you have shown. So if you want to stick with the porch that you have shown, I would be in favor of doing a straight headpiece instead of the curved one that I, yeah, yeah.
We'll just remove one piece of board and put the actual straight piece on there that's gonna actually eliminate, the arched, unnecessary arched.
Yeah, because it would be arch and then it would look like it had a pointed hat on or something, you know?
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, so,
So, yeah, I mean, that's a piece of 2x6, so I mean, I
okay,
got no problem changing that out.
okay, I think
Make
that
it
would
square.
coordinate better with your proposed porch.
And then the gables. I heard you guys talk about the gables. Heard you talk about the gables. I know you're not a big fan, but my customer loves them and she wants them because of the actual curvature.
Yeah, and I understand
So
that.
If you want something else added on it, you want them pushed back a little further to the higher up to the roof line, I mean, I can make that happen. It just, we would love to keep them. And
Okay,
having that plain roof line and everything else is kind of.
so I think that I would make them so that there's some sidewalls. Right now, it's like they're not even really quite a dormer because they make like a triangle instead of coming up a little bit. So just move them back and you could make them a little bit smaller, a little narrower.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a 6x12 pitch, so.
Yeah, so
and you have them
plenty of
same
space.
As the actual roof line goes.
But they're not gonna be real dormers, right? So they could sit on top of the roof deck. Yeah, yeah, so you could just sit them up there, the little,
Slide them back basically 2-3 feet, so I'll have a solid gutter there that cannot interfere.
that's right, it's out of the way, no problem.
What y'all want,
Sit them back.
slide them back a couple feet and everything else, I'll have a solid gutter on the bottom instead of.
And it doesn't even need to be, it's partially, the overhang, where was it? The overhang is so small. It's a 1-foot overhang. So, even if it's back, I don't know that I would actually make it back all that far. I'd just make it a little ways, maybe 2 feet is probably
Yeah,
fine, don't you think?
24 inches. And
24 inches back, and then make it a little bit more of a,
Yeah, because right now it's so close that you'd have like this little bit of shingle in front. But if you pull it back, then at least you'll have a nice length of. yeah.
it'll have a little bit more of that dormer look. Like this one looks more like an eyebrow.
Well, if it's, let's say, on the edge of it, and shingling that area, so you shingle the dormer. If I slide it back here, shingling this particular section by the dormer is a.
Hmm.
So
You can shingle all along.
Well,
You
yeah.
can shingle the side down.
Say, 1 foot inches is, okay. I slide it back, it's 3. So my guys can actually walk. shingle.
Oh, I see. what you're saying.
Dormers pull back.
Well, I think 3 foot's fine too, my opinion.
Yeah, that's okay. That's
I mean,
right.
Just
That-
to make it easier.
Yeah, if they can't get
The second floor.
to get that little piece. And then they could work up there easier. There's,
Or if it's a 3-foot, if it's a 3-foot recess, that's a lot easier to shingle the area that's actually remaining there. I still have to put the actual metal flashing and
Mhm.
everything else in there, so it's gotta be easier to work on.
This is just a suggestion, not to muddy the waters, but what about not having a gutter there? Just build it in, build it like it's a continuation of the front wall and not try to have any sort of gutter there, any sort of roof there, just build it straight in alignment.
Well, if I build it straight in alignment with the actual wall that's coming in, that was the plan, to build it straight with the alignment and everything else, but still you have this little section in between the doors that have to have a gutter on.
Mhm.
So it would be a continuous gutter across the whole property.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Then you have to have a
You
downspout.
have to, yeah, you wouldn't want to have that downspout in the middle of. the-
No.
Yeah,
I thought that was a good idea. too.
yeah, yeah.
We got rid of, right? We had it down
Yeah.
at one point, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you already took that away.
I
Okay.
mean, it'd be nice, I mean, it'd be nice if you had a. like
Yeah,
that,
actually it would be, but
But you got, yeah.
I
do that.
wouldn't do that with the downspout.
Yeah, it-
Otherwise,
it would.
what
it
else
would-
could you do? Where else could you put the water?
Yeah.
Eliminate the dormers if y'all don't like them. Sorry, but they're gone.
No,
No, I think keeping the dormers is fine. I would just,
To give
okay,
one-
so then if you can't, I don't know where else you'd have to have a downspout, right?
I do not want to see the middle of the house.
I
Yeah,
wouldn't
I just,
either.
it would look, yeah, the practical aspect is jinxing us again. Darn it, it would look cool if we didn't have to get that water out of there, right? Yeah.
Okay, so back to that then. Yeah, make them more like,
Recess them, reseed them about 3 feet.
and then they're, right now, you show them as about 9'8" wide. And I think, just, so it's, shrink it up a little, what'd you say?
Shrink them.
like 6 foot wide, maybe.
7 feet wide?
So,
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, if
And
you're
then
okay with
just-
it, I mean, if that's the condition of it, I mean, you guys say it's gotta be 7 feet, I mean, I'll make sure that they're 7 feet, I mean, if they center it over the window and.
And so there's a little height on the walls and it gives it more that
If the
quaint,
actual-
quaint little dormer look.
Yeah, and we're talking about adding verticals.
Vertical sides.
As
yeah.
well.
Yeah,
Okay.
vertical.
So they're not just
So
squished
on the
down.
corners, I mean, recess at 3 feet, a vertical side. And it's gonna have a small, maybe 18 inches to 24 inches on the front and then blend in with the rest of the ridge line. It's a 612 pitch, so it's like, it literally, I believe they're 7 feet long. I don't have too much space.
Right, yes, I understand. Yeah, just,
Key thing is to make you guys happy, so I can start on the project.
well, I think it will give the look that,
It gives it
of a
better
dormer
aesthetic.
more.
Better aesthetics, I mean, I agree. Now,
Look, yeah, I mean, I think all the comment about, trying to make it look more substantial, I think that's where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And it's not really us, we're suggesting this, so. And if,
my job is to make you guys happy, but also make my customer happy, and she wants to keep the dormers, so.
cool.
That's fine.
If we gotta do a little alteration on the actual dormers, and you guys can put that on the notes, I'll have the architect change that. Send it to the plan reviewers. We can make it a condition that those are drawn out.
So
Specified
did
way.
she like the dormers the way, oh, is she?
Well, she's here.
Oh, okay. Oh, hi.
so that's kind of what they're.
Oh, yeah. See,
So that, I
I
mean,
want-
I just sketched on there kind of, it just pulls them out. I just, for us, we want to make sure we're on the same page.
Yeah.
So we don't feel like yeah, please, if you don't mind sharing that little sketch. It's a minor revision, but we think it makes it a little bit more.
yeah,
I know.
kind of hard.
Okay, very good.
About your notes.
All right,
By the drawing submitted by Bob.
all right. Yeah.
Well, there's also the, discussion about, we think some of these comments are based on just the computer.
Yeah.
trap.
The door.
Would the windows in the frame wall on the second floor They have wood trim around the perimeter.
Well, since we're doing siding on the second floor, they usually come with actual siding, with lips for the siding.
Okay, okay.
So now if you guys want actual window trim with actual flashing, I mean, I can do flashing or window trim around them, but
Well, because the window comes with like a nailing flange.
yeah, it comes with nail and
And
flange
so
and
the
the siding
siding-
kind of goes into the lip.
Oh, okay, okay.
And that's the same siding window. But if you guys want to see trim around those windows, I mean, I have brick on the bottom where the windows
Yeah.
are measured literally a 1 inch with a bead of silicone between the window and the actual
The brick.
The second floor, there's not much I can do.
Yeah, and you have shutters there, so.
Yes, we
That's-
will have the shutters that will kind of take the attention away from the actual window trim itself.
Actually, I'm just looking at the left side elevation and you've got windows here that are not going to have room for shutters. Because of the chimney would be in the way of it looks like it'd be in the way of having shutters on, like, 3 of those windows.
On the left side of the elevation. where the
Yeah.
chimney is.
Yeah, because I don't see where you're going to have room for shutters here.
There is one, those are very close to the actual thing.
Yeah,
On the
so,
bottom.
so I
do the
just
same
want
thing.
to clarify and make sure that we're all understanding that there really isn't room for shutters on these windows.
On those 3 windows.
Yeah,
those
and
3
so
windows. So-
you got to kind of think about how the shutter, no shutter, on the same elevation is
Well,
going to look.
since the actual chimney is so close to it and everything else, I mean, I could do a shutter to the left of it, but not to I mean, I can't put it on the chimney. It would kind of be
Yeah,
that would be funny.
Even- I
You know,
mean-
have a shutter kind of coming out.
yeah, I mean, even if you were to put shutters on one side here and then 2 sides here, I think we kind of get into a little bit of a hodgepodge look. I would
Yeah.
be.
Well, I mean, the second
Okay.
option is to put shutters only on the front. of
Only on the
house.
front of the house.
So,
You know
I
what?
mean, that
I-
makes it a lot more convenient.
I
Honestly,
think that would clarify things. I think it would look
Put it on the
better.
Front of the,
on-
only on the front
yeah.
of the front face of the house and
Yeah.
eliminate the eyesores.
I mean, you have shutters on the front now and the brick.
Yeah.
So if you put them on the 2 windows that are on the front, then they're all dressed the same. And then the remaining windows would have no shutters.
Yeah.
Well, I
I-
mean, this is the thing, it's like the front of the house is. a
Yeah,
canopy.
I think that's
Who cares
completely
about
appropriate.
The side of the house, nobody's gonna worry about shutter. I mean, it's a plastic shutter. It's not like a hurricane shutter that's gonna protect it from anything.
And it'll save some money too.
Yeah, but they're about $50 a piece. So,
Nice dinner.
I mean, we'll still have the grills in,
Mhm.
like on the window glass and everything else.
Yeah.
All right.
So can I motion it for approval or will you do?
Do we have any other items? Carol?
Just a clarification on that back bathroom window. It's glass block, but it looks like it's drawn as art glass now. What do y'all plan for
Uh,
that?
The bathroom window currently is glass, but I want to replace it with an actual window to match the upstairs bathroom.
Okay, so it's going to be replaced with a double hung window,
Hung window with
To-
with the.
6/6?
Well, it's the frosted. It's gotta be
Mhm.
Yeah,
frosted,
so it'll be
you're-
with obscure glass, but the
yes,
6/6 grills.
Yes.
Okay.
So not the art glass window that's
Yeah.
on the drawing.
About the trim. Did we mention that?
Trim, this one or?
Yeah, that.
Oh, yeah, yeah. The last time we saw this, there was a question about how the brick to siding was gonna be flashed. And if there'd be trim.
Well, the plan is to put a 1x10 trim piece on the front. Well, basically it has to wrap around the front and to the left side of the.
Okay,
structure.
okay. So that wasn't,
Just
that
for the
wasn't
one
shown.
side, yeah.
Yeah, it's only going to the one side because the other side gets an actual piece of,
It's the
there's
other
a
way.
section of the roof that remains of the existing roof.
Right, right. And then also on the rear as well.
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
there you go. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I know that he's the master of art drawings, so.
Yeah, we're just gonna scan these and submit them.
It's not my best work. The pen's too fat.
All the lines don't have to be straight.
All right. I think we can form a motion around, just, this series of clarifications.
So I gotta take those notes and everything else to submit it to the actual building permit.
Right. So we'll go through the list,
Um,
during the motion.
Yeah, I was busy making my list and I didn't hear the last part of your trim.
That
Just
there'll be
that one.
a 1x10 piece of trim separating the brick from the siding
Okay,
on the front side and rear.
To the left.
Yeah, the left.
And the rear,
In the rear.
so it's around the perimeter.
It's around the perimeter.
Yeah.
except for the right side, I guess. yeah.
Okay,
It's got a gable.
okay.
Yeah. Oh,
It can
well.
only go on the front, left, and the rear, but it cannot be on the right side.
Correct.
Because
There-
of the existing. And I wish they would let me just build it to the existing thing, but the square footage and all of our,
All right.
the extra square footage.
All right, with that, may I have a motion on 302 Innisfail Drive, Innisfall, sorry.
Okay, everybody get their list and we'll double check them. I'll make a motion to approve 302 Innisfell Drive with the following clarifications. There'll be a 1x piece of trim separating the brick from the siding on the front, the the left elevation and the rear. The dormers will be pushed back 2 to 3 feet. They'll be narrowed to approximately 7 feet wide and they'll have vertical sides. All of the windows will be double hungs, 6/6. The windows on the front of the house will have shutters except for the ones on the bay. The existing garage door on the rear will remain. The existing door surround will have the head piece, the head trim changed to a straight configuration. The bathroom window will be double hung 6/6 with obscure glass. Anyone else have anything to add?
I think you got it.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, you're approved as noted.
Has anything to say? Keep it for the next meeting. Any opposition, keep it for the next meeting.
All right, have a good evening. Just
When do I get those
Res-
actual notes and everything else I can?
resubmit the plans with the notes
To her.
Can you
to the
text-
set, yeah.
Downstairs.
Mhm.
Can you give him that? Is
Can
that-
I give you guys that?
Can you do
I
that?
can take that.
Can you take that? No, Mark said no.
Hold on,
Jim,
I'm gonna send out some notes, but you can look at this online on YouTube
Oh.
anytime. So it's all filmed if you want to check it, but I'll be sending out some notes too.
there you go.
This is what I've-
You'll need to get the official list from the city.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you want to have a list in the meantime, you can check it out on YouTube and maybe just like fast forward straight to that last motion and that'll give you all those items.
All right,
YouTube officially?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
finally. All right,
Thank you all for your time.
appreciate it. Have a
I'll
good
get those
evening.
notes, Get it over to the architect and then.
All right. Next we have 818 Holland Avenue.
Hey, Joe.
I thought Anthony Duncan was gonna be here today with me, but I should be able to answer all.
Yeah, I think we're really close. There were a few things. One of the comments I think was the south elevation windows. I'm not sure we talked about it, but about having grills. I know you added the windows, but I'm not sure if you're up for the grills or not.
I like the grills. I think I want to do 2/2 or maybe 2/0, but I think 2/2 would
2/2
be
makes
nice.
sense.
But
Yeah.
that's up to you guys. I mean,
Well-
I don't want just no grills, but.
Yeah, the
I
two
don't
over,
wanna Get into
That
this.
that makes sense. The smaller windows on the other sides have 2/2s, so that works. I think that was one comment.
The north already has the grills though.
Yeah, it's just the south that's not showing them. That's the only thing. They just need to be added to the south. All right. Other comments were, let's talk about you added the column at the entry. There was a question about, the plan versus the elevation. And I think we were kind of talking about, it looks like the plan, you have a nice wide set of stairs centered between the posts. The elevation kind of shows it to the right a bit. So the question was,
I'm not so sure that door was the right size. I don't know. Looking at it, I thought the door needed to be a little wider. I have room. I have an 8-foot foyer, so
mhm.
I thought a 6-foot door maybe. And that would be more towards the left of the porch. And then the porch would be 19'8" by 6.
Mhm.
And it gives them room to have furniture, or a couple chairs or whatever on the right side of the porch. But I'm not sure that size on the plan is exactly what I wanted. But it's gonna be a good quality wood door.
I think it was more, so my comment was more on the stair alignment. So in the plan, it shows a nice wide set of stairs centered on the columns. The elevation, it's a little smaller and off to the right. So we weren't sure which one you were gonna do. But it seems like what was on the, oh, yeah.
This is the way it's shown. It's shown shorter here on the elevation, but the plan shows it longer, spanning from post to post. And we think it looks better, wider, spanning from post to post. So are you okay with that? Okay. 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 Okay, do you have an idea about how, are you gonna add another side light? Or are you thinking about going to like a different door configuration?
Thinking a different door configuration, honestly, but do I have to know that right now?
Yeah, it would be real helpful because whatever we approve here is gonna be what the inspectors are looking for in the field.
No, that's fine.
Okay, so we want to leave the door as is, but make the wider stair?
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Well, that would be fine.
I think it looks good.
Sure. 2/0.
Okay, well, if we would need to know what style you're actually going to build and what it looks like. We were talking about just, I think everybody, I believe, is okay with these 3 elevations. We were just talking about adding grills to these windows. Yeah, so it would be like just basically here, it would be like a kind of like a 2/2 look, like back here like this. Yeah, just kind of, because that would blend with those. And that way, when you're inside the house, you wouldn't be sitting in a room and have a mix of grills and no grills in the same. Yeah, some people that doesn't bother, it would bother me. Yeah, okay, so we'll just have a 2/2 look on this rear elevation and widen those stairs. Okay.
No, I think that was it, right?
I think. that was it.
And then enclose the bottom of the.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry, that was the last comment.
Yeah, we were talking about, doing something here to close off the bottom and side of the porch, so you're not looking underneath the porch.
Like that. I'm gonna eliminate the piers, I'm gonna have concrete foundation.
Okay, so you're,
So my new concrete, it'll be concrete instead of wood.
Mm.
okay, so,
I'll just eliminate, and then it'll over,
They'll take care of maintenance too.
yeah.
and no maintenance, and it's.
Mhm.
Repair,
Right.
questions.
So
Perfect.
I think that's great.
So that's definitely gonna change, and I already talked to my wall contractor, that.
Okay, great. So we're gonna change the front porch to concrete and the front stairs to concrete? Get, okay, and widen those stairs?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah,
Mhm.
okay.
Sounds good. All right. With that, may I have a motion on 818 Holland Avenue?
I'll make a motion to approve 818 Holland Avenue with the following understandings. The windows on the south elevation will have 2/2 grills. The front porch and front stairs will be changed to concrete. And the front stairs approaching the front door will span from column to column.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? All right, Joe, you're approved as noted. You're welcome. Have a good evening.
But do we need to do 25, Marshall?
Yeah, we need to loop back around.
All right, so we're looping back around. There's no one here for 25 Marshall. Does anyone feel like we can make a motion on this?
For me personally, I would be okay with the understanding that the space below the stairs at the sides will be closed off with lattice or some other decorative material that's compatible with the house style. I don't know how anybody else feels about that, or want to bring them back for discussion, or,
Yeah, without them here, it's hard to, but
yeah.
can we,
Table it?
or
Sure.
And bringing just that little set of stairs back and having to do a hearing and a whole nother sign again and all of that other stuff. If you approve it that way and then they decide that they don't want to, then they can come back.
okay.
But I mean, I sent multiple emails to everyone on their application, so.
Okay,
We'll go with that.
all right. There's no one else present to make a comment on 25 Marshall Place. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve 25 Marshall Place with the understanding that the space below the stairs will be closed off at the sides with lattice or another decorative material that's compatible with the house style.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, 25 Marshall Place is approved as noted. We also have one more that we didn't review, which was 1303 Belton Avenue. That's a window. And no one is present for that, so I feel like we could table that one.
Yeah, I would say on that one, there's a lot more questions, a lot more stuff. We'll just put it on for the next meeting because no one showed.
All right, with that, meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Bye-bye.